All right. We are live. And of course, joining me was one of the men that are one of
Salute.
the biggest influencers, I guess. You would call yourself a influencer around the region. Would you consider yourself that?
A
Nowadays,
personality?
everybody's an influencer.
Yeah. I'm not an influencer. I'm a personality, bro. There's a difference. You know what I mean? Influencers, they got that thing that they're going for, and they're trying to be out there, the Gary V's of the world. There's no influencing here. It's just all personality. It's all character. 100% character, brother. 100%. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm one of those guys. I've been in the mix for a while. I see you, JHK. You're doing great things. I love how you're carrying the torch, making everything's happen. Uh, you've had some fantastic interviews yourself lately. What's been big for you?
I don't know. I have no idea. In my opinion, like I feel like I'm just continuing my journey. It's just not really like something is bigger than the other thing. It's just like everything's pretty much the same, and everybody's working towards a position. You know what I mean? That's what everybody's working towards, a position. I have my own
Yeah,
thing that I'm doing, but of course I would like a position somewhere. and
right.
uh that's the end goal. You know what I mean? Longevity. I think that's something that's very, very rare in this business,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's what
mm,
I'm working for, is longevity.
yeah. But there isn't. Okay, so longevity is the way to go. Staying relevant is like the other way to go. You know what I mean? In terms of any industry, I think, dude, you're crushing it. As far as I'm concerned, you're kicking ass and taking names, man. So, kudos to that. Longevity is
Yeah,
one thing.
trying.
Again, I've been in the game for a while now. I got
Mhm.
longevity. There's certain times you don't hear from me for a while. Nobody talks about those times, do you? But I'm still I'm still on my mission, like you were talking about. Still going after it, if you will. Just different
Yeah,
strokes
yeah,
for different folks.
yeah. It's just, I guess, like a lot of people are are they have illusions. You know what I mean? Of like what is actually going on in people's lives, because they just look at social media. You know what I mean? Like if you see
Of
social
course.
media and there's somebody's putting up a post about they're doing 10 push-ups and 15 burpees, they must be training hard, right? That's the whole thing
Exactly.
right now.
Exactly. TikTok's inspirational for me, man. I mean, TikTok has me making me want to make like choreograph choreograph movies, something stomp the yardish, if you will.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I got my band going on. I'm telling everybody during this like strange COVID period, get a hobby, get a hobby that doesn't cost any money, and gun towards that, because again, we're in some strange days. You got some loose time on your hands in terms of life right now. It's probably not going to be like this for, if we go back to normalville. You know what I mean? A lot of people will probably be regretting that they didn't do more cool stuff during this period of time, aside
Yeah,
from the
especially
TikTok
if you're
videos and of course the
yeah,
10 push-ups, if you will.
yeah, it's especially if you're, let's say you are single, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't have that much responsibility in your life. It is the best time to pick up something extra. Of course you're gonna wake up, and let's say you are a fighter, you're gonna wake up and do your workouts and everything, but what are you gonna do with the rest of your time? You're just gonna sit around and
100%.
watch Netflix and waste your time? I don't think that's the smart thing to do. You gotta pick something. You gotta do video games,
Yep.
start streaming. You see a
Well,
lot of
exactly.
fighters now, they're doing all that.
Exactly. I would even say half of the stuff that, like, when I was growing up wasn't considered like either a business venture, a moneymaker, or it wasn't considered cool.
Mhm.
You can now go do whatever the hell you want. Again, I'm singing in a Thai band. I don't know if you noticed that. Me and a
Yeah,
Polish
I've
guy
seen you.
named Bart started a Thai band, and we're just playing music all the time now because again, it doesn't cost me any money. It improves my Thai language skills, which is like what I'm trying to gun for it anyway. And again, it's fun to like set another little goal with that guy and not only work on the audio visual stuff, but like again, like, because you're in content provision there, Johnny. So
Mhm.
like, you need your own music, you need your own video, you need all that type of stuff, so you don't get those flags, right? So
Yeah,
it's fun
definitely.
because my little band has actually taught me more about other little, production
Mhm.
tips and stuff like that, than I probably would have learned if I had actually taken a course. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah,
You gotta
online
do it
learning.
on your own. You gotta do it on your own, and you gotta
You do.
try it. And YouTube is a the biggest platform to learn anything you want to learn, man. I've learned
100%.
pretty much almost anything that is valuable to what I'm doing right now on YouTube and just practicing it over and over and over again.
Of course.
But piggybacking it off like what you're doing, right, with the band. Actually,
Yeah.
last night I was on YouTube. I was like, playing with my daughter and doing Legos and all this shit. And like usually I turn on music on YouTube in front of the TV, and I was like, shit, I forgot where I heard that Journey, they had like this, the lead singer left, and then this
Yeah.
Filipino guy came in, but this was a long time ago, right? So I
Yeah.
started looking that up, and I'm like, this is a bad motherfucker right here. Like,
Filipinos
he's better than
crush
the
it on
original
mic.
guy.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, the original guy. I mean, come on now. Worlds Apart. All those songs.
Yeah.
I mean, classics, gems. Obviously, things that have inspired me over the years.
Mm.
Again, I think it was 3 or 4 shows ago that I was playing that like acoustically at Australia Bar for our weigh-ins, and you were there.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
so
of
yeah,
course.
man. Like again, like I love all that type of stuff. And now more than ever, so many artists are playing live, and you have all these things, dude. I mean, again, you have even like the donation sites. Are you into that at all, John?
No, I don't do that.
You don't know how to? Do you know how to do it though? Like, do you have
Well,
like?
if I really went in
wanted
there,
to get my
yeah.
donation onto the JHK MMA show, you know what I mean? Kumite TV. Could you have like this going on with like a donate towards
Well,
whatever?
you could do it on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, you can donate to like the live. If you do like live, like let's say, you have a band, right? So you guys make a
Yep.
YouTube channel, and you guys get your subscriptions up to a certain level. Then when you guys play, you just go live, and then the viewers can send you money through YouTube.
That's where we all need to be. That's the future.
Exactly.
That's where we're going. Could easily happen at my next show, by the way. That could literally
Yeah.
actually happen at my next show.
Yeah, I think that's a big opportunity for promotions. You know what I mean? Like, why not? Why not live stream on YouTube and get people to send money? You know what I mean? Like, they're
Well, of
enjoying the
course.
content. Same thing
Well,
as,
it's because
like that's why I was talking about the Filipino lead singer, because he started off as a hobby singing,
yes,
and it led to him taking over the band that he was in love
that
with,
he
man.
grew up
Like,
with.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
What a
what
heck
the
of a
hell's going
story.
on?
Same one with Sublime. I don't know if you know the band Sublime, like Santeria.
Oh, of course.
Love is what I
Yeah.
got. Well, that dude, the new dude that sings with them, like he was just a Bradley Noel Sublime fan, and when Bradley Noel passed away, homeboy got in there. It's kind of wild. Yeah, I mean, I've been loving seeing again the live performances. I watched that Post Malone Nirvana thing the other day, and they raised like
Okay.
$2.5 million or something like that towards COVID relief. So again, people are definitely out there donating it. I've just again, you say why not? Well, larger organizations in the fight industry are not going to do it because they're going after broadcast deals. You'd have to have like a smaller organization like my organization come up and be like, you know what, I don't really survive on the broadcast deals. My business model doesn't really revolve around that type of mentality. So I'm able to do whatever I want. Let's go after this type of thing. I'm not sure. Like I'm not a gamer, so I'm not really looking into Twitch or anything like that. But if I had Twitch or YouTube, could I have it so that like, hey, donate towards the red corner? Like Cam Soda, I saw that they did that with their MMA promotion. But like, I got red corner, I got blue corner, I got Johnny Nutt in the middle of it. Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is for COVID relief. If you think the blue corner did enough, give him some money. If you think the red corner did enough, give him some money. Couldn't that be?
Oh yeah, that's a bonus. That's bonus checks for the fighters right there.
That's a promoter looking out for them fighters right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting them hook up. So we're actually probably going to do that at our next show, man. The Hard 8 show that I was trying for so hard. Will Chope obviously was going to fight Hide, and I don't know if you've seen he went back to the States. Obviously, we don't know what's going to go on with COVID, and I'm not trying to play scientist like so many out there. You know what I mean? And a doctor over here. So needless to say, but I will tell you that we were going to do this little Hard 8 tournament and have Muay Thai on there and MMA. We're going to have Muay Thai on there and MMA, maybe even some other fights on there. But I would expect that like we won't go high production value. We'll actually lower the production value to try to have some more fighters on there because fighters are screwed right now, huh? Well, the world's screwed. So suck it up, fighters. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I think that's their life, though. Their life has been like this. Their life has been COVID-19, you know, and then they get their opportunities once they come. You know what I mean? It's not like they're just
Especially if you're not in
continually
the
fighting.
majors.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not in the majors, your life was COVID-19 for the last how many years you've been fighting. So it's almost like they're used to it, except for the gyms are not open. You know what I mean? They can't go train with other people. They can't, you know, who knows? You know what I mean? Like there's guys out there training with each other. It's no big secret. Now with the Hard 8, right? Like you were gonna have the Muay Thai tournament, the one night tournament. Is that right? Is that
yeah? So
am I correct?
We were gonna do 2 4-man tournaments. What was it? We were gonna do a strawweight tournament and a featherweight tournament. So like a 125 and a 145, 2 4-man, and it was gonna be like basically Southeast Asia or like peninsula almost. We had a Burmese, Thai, Cambodian, Malaysian. So are you with me? And,
yeah.
And again, it would have been the winners would have had 2 fights in one night. Are you with me? And they were also going to go from 8-ounce gloves to 4-ounce gloves on just on a good shtick note. You know what I mean? So it was going to look the part. You know what I mean? They were going to do the first round like 8-ounce gloves. You know, losers obviously lose. Winners move on, and in the finals they were going to use the 4-ounce gloves. And that would have been cool, man. And then we had some
Muay Thai rules.
Huh?
Full Muay Thai rules.
Yeah. Full Muay Thai rules. 3 minutes. Not 5. Not 5 3 minutes. 3 minutes. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's a matter of time before I do Muay Thai and try to do it my way. And this was going to be it. You know what I mean? We had a lot of cool things that we were going to do. We were going to again, like talk for the fighters. I still plan on doing that. Like a lot of the guys that don't speak English, they can't promote themselves anyway. And they don't well, as you know, you and I both know, behind the scenes, the fighters don't really get on it in terms of that type of marketing. So I was going to do it for them. So like saw me in war, I was actually going to be like, my name is War, and I'm going to kick your, you know, speak on behalf of them.
Was it going to be like the Kung Fu theater style?
Yeah. We were going to do all Shaw Brothers movies. Yeah. Make it very Kung Fu. Have a dude like with an Australian accent, but he's from Burma. You know what I mean? Like we were going to go that route and try to get funky. But unfortunately, again, like with everything the way that it is, like, man, again, like I get hit up. You know, it's funny because just the way that every industry in the world is, man, you know, nobody knows what's going on. I love when like people hit me up, like, when's the next show? It's like, really, dude? Like, I'm not Dana over here. I'm not talking to Trump on a regular basis. You know what I mean? I will do a show though. I think that like Southeast Asia will be the first to do shows. Like we'll be probably one of the first back, right?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Cambodia is obviously doing shows. They extended our curfew thing, if you will, curfew, quarantine, whatever you want to call it, until May 31st. I spoke with Bank and the guys from the WBC and Workpoint Boxing. They were supposed to have Runguri Sisaket fight on May 2nd. That got pushed to June 6th. But as of talking to them yesterday, and they were having their own podcasts and WBC type of stuff, they said that they are prepped and ready to go June 6th. If they go on June 6th, I'll probably go like the following weekend. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right there. Like as soon as I can.
You got to hit the iron while it's hot, right? You got to get in there quick as possible.
I think everybody will be trying to. You know what I mean? I think everybody will be trying to. I just don't think that the States is going to be able to do it for a while. That being said, I mean, you know how like we're kind of in the bubble over here. You know, like again, like I'm such a nerd and such like a fan that like, you know, I'm over here like, oh, live fights in Cambodia. And people are like, there's no live fights going on in the world. And I'm like, no, there are. They're right here in Cambodia. And people are like, no live fights. And I'm like, no, this is a place. It's called Cambodia. It's a fucking country. You know what I mean? And they're like, no live fights. No live UFC fights. I get, bro. walk away. You know what I mean? There's definitely fights
Yes,
going on. There were
it's
fights in
that
Nicaragua
regionalism,
this past
man.
weekend. Huh?
It's like if it doesn't happen, it's like that. If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound type mentality over there in North America, right? It's like
100%,
if
bro.
we don't know, not even in North America, like it's just Europe too. You know, in general, like the Western world, they're just like, oh, if it doesn't happen over there, then it's not happening anywhere.
And similarly, I mean, like, again, if it doesn't happen in the English language, it doesn't happen. If it doesn't happen in the
Yeah,
Mandarin language, it doesn't happen on that side either. So, you know, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just weird, especially for a guy like me, because, you know, when everybody was talking about Fight Island, it's like, we've done that.
yeah,
Totally was on a, you know what I mean? Like, been doing that
yeah.
for
I had
years.
Matt on a couple weeks ago, and he was
Yeah.
talking about the cruise ship. You did it already.
Again. Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Bro, and again, like we filmed one of our eat play fights out on CoPP. We're gonna touch it up as soon as this is done. But like, you've been to the island of CoPP? Are you aware of the
Nah,
island of
man.
CoPP?
I've been to Phuket a few times. I just haven't been out there.
All right, so CoPP is the island where Leonardo DiCaprio shot the beach.
Yeah.
The film The Beach that back in the day. They have a bar there called Reggae Bar. And the middle of the island is Reggae Bar. That's like my Thai mom and dad from the past. And
yeah, I heard
Reggae Bar
stories
has a
about
boxing
you.
ring. Huh?
I heard stories about you and
Oh yeah.
Kobe.
I get raw on Kobe B. That's my backyard, you know. I'll piss in that backyard. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
Dude, there's some crazy stuff going on in Kobe P. I got to tell you my Thomas Crown affair story soon. Dude, this dude like 5 days ago that I used to know, you know, Chester Rapey, we'll call him Chester Rapey. He got busted on owned a bar over there on Kobe P, and he got busted selling spliffs open air, and they froze his bank account. It had like 20 some odd million in it.
What?
Just crazy. Yeah. Great. I think he escaped on a wave runner. Dead serious.
No.
He escaped on a wave runner.
Oh,
Yeah. Dead serious, bro. Kobe P. Wild, Wild West. Needless to say, Chester Rapey escaping on a wave runner. Reggae Bar, you can fight in the middle of Reggae Bar for alcohol. So we did a little eat play fight on that. It was fun. Trying to bring Mayhem Miller over here later in the year, and I want to get him on Kobe P and him fighting for buckets of alcohol as well.
Hey, I know you guys are doing that show. The show is great. You guys are going around exploring the world.
Yeah.
Are you guys still doing it with Fox Sports Asia? What happened to Fox Sports Asia?
Well, Fox Sports got purchased by Disney.
Whoa.
So the conglomerate of Disney, who already has ESPN, have merged those together. It's continuing on, and it's continuing for a while. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Some of the people that were at Fox obviously are no longer there. Some of them will cross over and go over to ESPN. Our Eat Play Fight show, we have 2 more that will go over to ESPN. So instead of being on FoxSportsAsia.com, it'll be on ESPN.com.
Well, that all works out.
It does for me. It does for my CV. If I use the CV, if I was on LinkedIn,
you're on ESPN.
Well. Yeah. I mean, dude, it's definitely a feather in the cap. But I mean, I'm much more happy to have the show just running the way that we have it. So, like again, like my company has a partnership with these guys, and we provide that content, and we make those content for them. But so that's why I'm not really too phased by any of it. But yeah, Fox Sports Asia will be most likely turning into ESPN within the year. I mean, it's merging that way now, you know.
Yeah, I wonder what that means about like the UFC over here on this side of the world. Is it gonna go through ESPN or maybe it's not? That confuses me a little bit.
It's
Yeah,
all
just a lot of
rumors.
rumors.
Yeah,
because you know it's all about money.
100%, dude. I mean,
yeah,
that's the industry. You know, I mean, again, there's sport and there's spectacle, but it depends on what you think is sport and what you think is spectacle. You know what I mean? Like you and I watch the sport. You know what I mean? The sport happens with like each fighter having 3 family members there, and you're at a gymnasium, like a high school gymnasium, and they've like, you know, that's where the cage is. You know what I mean? Or the
Yeah.
ring is. That's the sport. You know, the spectacle is what we get on broadcast.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so
there's certain promotions that do it better than others, you know what I mean? They just
of
some of
course,
them just have better fighters, but the spectacle is much better, and the promotion is much better of the athletes or fighters or wherever. Hey, let's go to some of these questions, man. There's some
sure.
questions about Full Metal Dojo right here. You see on the bottom right here? It
No, I
says,
do not.
you see it on the bottom of the screen?
Okay, yeah. They will
Okay.
really happening. What kind of weight difference? Okay, so Will went back to the States. I spoke to Will a few nights ago. He went back to the States. If everything COVID wise doesn't work out for us, and we throw a show before then, Hide's in Bangkok, so he'll be on that card. If Will can't get back in, unfortunately, he will be off of that card. We were gonna make that fight again, an open weight super fight. Hide's walking around at like 120 something, 120 like and change. And Will was walking at like 84 or 80, like, and it was like the biggest Will had been in a while. So yeah, that would have been a pretty big weight difference. Chope is still like taller than Hide though. I mean, like again, it's like very fun and very
Way taller.
awkward. Again, full on freak show.
Mm.
Not embarrassed about that one at all, being a freak show too. Like Hide's such an adorable human being. That dude is Sub-Zero, minus the getting the barbed wire around his neck by Schwarzenegger. Just a cute, cuddly teddy bear, isn't he? And he's so funny. He's such a good time. And he wants to fight these, he wants to fight Chope because he feels like if he could take out Chope, he can fight in Risen like right away. You know what I mean? That's like what he's saying to me. So, hey, man, if you want to use me as a jumping block, rock on with your bad self. I'll make it happen. I
Yeah,
think it's a fun matchup.
I think that the open weight stuff is something that you could explore more. I like this idea. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
For
You're
sure.
you're not fighting for a title. You might as well just go in there and fight who you can fight and draw as much attention as you can to yourself as a fighter. And Will, everybody wants to fight Will, and
Who
Will
doesn't?
will pretty much fight anybody.
Yeah. He's the great. I mean, again, like in my decade of the sport, Will and I kind of came up together because like I did he fought his first pro fight with Dare Fight Sports, and I was yelling on the mic for that. And again, that was basically, 9.5 years ago now. So to see him go where he's gone and do what he's doing, I think it's absolutely wild, and my hat's off to him. You know what I mean? Kudos. What is it? Glenn Sparv. Who am I fighting? Dude, Glenn, we're trying to get Glenn on. Watch for Glenn. Glenn's we'll get Glenn in there. Glenn's got the best mullet in the industry, bar none. A lot of people talk about Roy. Screw that nonsense. Just such childish talk. Glenn by far has it. My question out there to Glenn and John, I don't know if you've started doing this, but as a favor to me, John Young Co., if you would start talking to fighters and ask them, hey, you like the MMA stuff? Do you like the bare knuckle? Do you like the Letway? Because my question right over here to Glenn Teddy Bear Sparv would be, does he want to fight WLC rules? Does he want to fight Letway? Can we get him in there with bare knuckle and headbutts? Because wouldn't you want to see the mullet wrap around? You know what I mean? Encompass somebody. The headbutt comes from Glenn, and then the mullet comes too, and it wraps around, and it just caresses.
It's like some Predator shit.
Yeah, dude. Glenn, the Predator Teddy Bear Sparv from the future. I think that's a good nickname. He could work that.
I feel like everybody's wondering, if he wants to do some bare knuckle stuff. Yeah, of course. But I think most MMA fighters, they'll never do it. It just my opinion. I feel like they're so used to having their hands taped and gloves on that bare knuckle is just
Yeah.
something you do after you pretty much done everything you could in MMA, right? That's like the old folks home of MMA, like
But it's interesting though.
that's
I
what they
think that you
feel.
have them. Huh?
That's what they
Well, that's
feel.
how
A lot of fighters would feel that way.
Of course. And of course, because I mean, like, dude, I know Dave Feldman. I know the guys in Philadelphia, and I know the BKFC guys. And obviously, I know the guys at BKB over in the UK. UK does their own thing. You know what I mean? They're signing talent that is not former UFC. They're hiring Welsh and Scottish and pikey, gypsy, peaky blinders motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Which is rad. Dave Feldman is hiring, you know, there's talk of Vanderlei Silva fighting, you know, he was calling out Vitor. He's calling out a lot of people. And Mark Godbeer is an animal, and he's supposedly going to be fighting for that title. So, I mean, BKFC, I think, can do something. Personally, though, again, like, obviously I'm a little bit biased being the guy that's on the microphone for WLC. But WLC is, I think, the most exciting combat sport on the grow, if you will, right now. I mean, dude, you kind of have to admit that it's the most, the toughest tough man competition.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the ultimate striking competition. You know, gloves off, headbutts, full Muay Thai rules, basically. You know what I mean? You can even do throws. Some bad boys, man. And again, I think that like the trajectory that they're on, because we were supposed to do a show in Cambodia, and because of COVID, obviously that's postponed. But their plans for the rest of 2020, this is just a bump in the road as well. Like, is the moment that everything can open up, WLC will blast off as well. I feel like I got like my MMA with Full Metal Dojo. I got my boxing with Work Point Boxing, and I got my Letway with WLC. You know what I mean?
Well, when you put Letway against bare knuckle boxing, it's two totally different sports.
Two totally different.
It's hard to, two totally different skill sets. Like
different athletes,
guys that will excel in bare knuckle boxing will probably be dominated in Letway. It's just the truth, because you're taking away weapons and you're adding weapons, you know what I mean, of 100%. The body and strike. So it's like, it's hard to compare that stuff. And MMA fighters, I think they look at like the damage that these bare knuckle because it seems like bare knuckle boxer fight guys, they're taking more damage. They're taking more cuts to the face. If you look at the damage after fight,
they're taking more aesthetic cuts though. They're taking more on the surface.
You know, everybody wants to be pretty.
Their brain as much.
Yeah.
I remember I was there for BKB when Will Chope fought at the O2 Arena. And Godbeer was on that card. That was the one that he won. Remember Zab Judo? That was the weekend he went into the coma. So you have these dudes fighting BKB and they're getting their faces busted up. But then you have a guy over here that, you know, is fighting for WBC titles, takes 100 shots over the course of the evening because of that glove. You can't take 100 shots to the head bare knuckled. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that one is safe. Dude, they're all gladiators. You know, it's kind of a pointless argument to argue between combat sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think one's more you know, you want to know what the most dangerous combat sport is, right? It's white collar boxing. That's where the most deaths happen. That's where the most people get messed up.
Yeah, that's true. You know? I feel like the boxing in the 1920s was probably the most brutal of any sport or of any era, where they were doing bare knuckle, but they were boxing for like 20 rounds or 25 rounds. And they're probably, I want to know the statistics of that. Like, how many guys died from brain damage from that era? You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Yeah, they probably don't have the statistics, because they probably didn't follow those guys around. They're like once they got to a certain point, they're like, okay, he's done. He's gonna go live on the farm.
How crazy would the old Kingdom of Siam been?
You
know, again, that the reason that they don't count like really scoring for punches in Muay Thai is because of the glove, right? So I mean, the King Rame came back and like brought the glove from England and was like, "This is the way it is," and the people were like, "We will accept it. We will accept it because you're our king." But now that we got these pillows on our hands, we ain't doing any more of that scoring for this pussy shit, are we? No, right? No more, you know. I mean, that's the way that it went, you know. And that's, you know, again, the Burmese never really had that, you know. Kun Khmer never really had that either. I mean, they got it for broadcast, you know. Got to have it for broadcast.
Yeah,
nobody wants to see the other stuff.
I like that in Thailand they do have Muay Thai with the MMA gloves, with the open finger gloves.
Oh yeah.
You know, I like that. I like they're mixing it up. You know what I mean? You could have like different different, you could just look at it differently, you know what I mean? There's the
For sure.
regular traditional Muay Thai, and then you got the ones with the MMA gloves, and you got like what you're trying to do with the hard eight,
Yeah.
and it's just, you just gotta play with it, you know what I mean? If you have the opportunity to play with the rules, then you gotta play with the rules, because you never know what you can come up with, you know what I mean?
Well, especially out here too, man, because again, like combat sports have changed so much over the past decade, let alone like over the last 100 years. But you know, again, like people are realizing about sports authorities. People are realizing about what it takes to run a show. People are realizing the business models behind the organizations. People are realizing all of these different things that go into play. And I think that you know this as well. Facts are facts. Casual fans run the industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sorry to say, but like, sorry to say, hardcore fans, whether that's fighters, whether that's promoters, whether that's just hardcore fans like me that don't mind the grappling and all that stuff out here in Southeast Asia, it didn't take off. You know how, you know what I mean? Like, no matter how much I try to sell it when I'm selling to sponsors or whatever, like, oh, the Thais love MMA. The Thais love it. I just can't get enough of MMA. They all love MMA. That's all you know, it's almost gonna take over at Muay Thai. No, it's not. Kidding me? No, they like the striking. I've been to China so much in the last, couple of years, but Sanda's not going anywhere. Stand-up striking's not going anywhere in China. I don't think MMA is going to like grip it and rip it and take it over like the way that we once maybe thought it would. Do you know what I mean? Similar thing, like in Burma, nobody's going to knock off Letway.
No.
You know what I mean? Nobody's going to knock off Letway for
It's too
a
ingrained.
while. No, yeah, it's part of the society. It's their national sport. Imagine going over to India and being like, again, this cricket game is pretty cool, but you guys should be playing baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You could be
definitely.
hitting homers with the Japanese over here, and instead playing cricket. No,
Hey,
you know what I mean?
there's another question. It says, "Is it hard finding a venue to hold fights during these times?" Do you think if you really wanted to have a show, that a venue would be difficult to find?
No,
Is it
no.
the government? It's
I think if I
easy.
wanted to throw a show tomorrow, I could throw a show tomorrow. There's so
Okay.
many hungry fighters in this. Cambodia again is throwing fights.
Mhm.
Why would I not throw a show? Risk reward. Why be a dick during these times?
Mhm.
Like the UFC is at a different level, and I actually am one of the guys that like agreed with Dana, like throw the show. I want
I agree
entertainment.
too.
I think entertainment's just as important as compassion is during these weird times. You know what I mean? Especially for stress and things of that nature. So I was go ahead with Fight Island. That being said, I could do Fight Island tomorrow. Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to find a venue. It wouldn't be hard to find anything. The thing is also, am I trying to lose money? Depends on who you are, but like my show, like I do depend on ticket sales. I do depend on alcohol sales. I do depend on merch. I do depend on those types of things because I'm smaller. If I had larger sponsors that came on board that were like, yeah, I want this time right now, and we can make it happen, I can make it happen. We've thrown underground fights before when we weren't technically allowed.
Yeah, there was that whole period.
Yeah.
Hey, that's an interesting point that you make right there. Is the UFC gonna have all this, or all the sponsors are gonna be on board to do these fights? When they broadcast, all
I
those
think
sponsors are gonna be on the canvas.
I think yes. Your answer is yes. They all are going to be on there. But the crazy thing to me that I think is a telltale sign of like how much their broadcast deals are and how kick-ass a lot of their other deals are behind closed doors and behind that is that he doesn't care about the gate. He said that like 2 days ago or yesterday to Akamoto, or you know what I mean, on ESPN. He was like,
Yeah.
he's like, we cannot have the gate for the rest of the year. And it's like, well, I don't know. That's crazy because you and I both know those shows cost so much money that their gate doesn't bring it back. You know what I mean? Like when he's like, I got 1.6 at the gate. That's great, but your fight card was like 3.5 mil. You know what I mean? So, so again, it tells you how kind of tuned in some of their deals are, that he doesn't need the ticket sales and he doesn't need the revenue from the gate. Good on you. Kudos. If the sport, like, again, most casual fans feel like the UFC is the sport. So if the company and that sport are doing that well, I'm not really mad at it. Obviously, my business you know, dude, it sucks that I'm not at the clubhouse on Sunday mornings.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because that's, that's part of how my business works. You know what I mean? So yeah, screwy times. You know what I mean? Screwy times.
Well, with the Fight Island stuff, I feel like if you have the money, you can put it on. It's
Of course,
anybody can because there's not
100%.
going to be a commission.
In all honesty, it'd be getting that money back. I mean, you heard Matty Polino talk about the cruise ship.
Yeah,
Bro,
major
I don't
money.
know. I don't know what that cost, but like I can't. I mean, remember that was a marketing tool for a very large telecom company out of Malaysia. You know what I mean? But dude, like, there's got to be at some point, like when you're doing a marketing tool and you're not even hitting a certain amount of eyeballs or demographics or certain numbers and shit, and it's like you spent how much money on fights? You know what I mean? That's something I would do. You know what I mean? Like, but again, even major people, they don't want to lose. They don't want to lose. They don't want to lose that much. Yeah. Again, if you do a fight on an island, you got to have the infrastructure. I don't know if you and Maddie talked about it, but the reason that they had to dock it was. I remember Jason Lowe telling me that, like, if they actually did it out at sea, they were going to have to actually rent a helicopter. You know what I mean? If they did it out at sea, they were going to have a helicopter so that if there happened to be a broken neck or something like that, that they'd be able to get somebody off. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's so much stuff, but I feel like the UFC and ESPN has so much money that it's no problem for them because
I
they
think it's
already
wild
they
that,
already
like,
have the sponsors and there are no other sports going on. So
no
like
other
people are
sports.
saying, everybody's gonna be watching the UFC. It's just natural.
That Fight Island
They're
stuff
gonna
was
watch
probably
the
one of the best
replays and
marketing.
everything.
100%.
Yeah.
That Fight Island stuff was probably one of the best marketing tools that the UFC has had so far, whether it was real or not. You know what I mean?
And they trademarked it. They
Bro,
trademarked Fight Island.
the fact that, like, everybody in ESPN in the States, from basketball to hockey to NASCAR to whatever, we're talking about them. The fact that, again, on Sky Sports in England, the British, who weren't talking about F1 or British Premier League, they were talking about Dana White and the Fight Island. Probably one of the best marketing tricks that he could have pulled out of his hat. You know what I mean? Again, my hat's off to him. Kudos to him. Again, we kind of can't get rid of it. We kind of can't do that in different strokes for different folks. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? You kind of can't do that over here. I'm shocked so much when people in the States or the UK or any of the English language are like, man, it's going to be a while before fights. We're not going to get those fights until May. And it's like, Cambodia, right now, Chun Samat in a 4-man tournament. It's epic. You know what I mean? But they don't know about it.
Yeah, I posted a picture of those fights in Cambodia, and they were spraying the fighters in the ring.
Yeah.
Like their bodies, they were spraying the bodies. So it's like, okay, why would they be doing that? Because right now it's COVID-19 and they're doing some shows and it's live.
You want the fighters to be as clean and germ free before they elbow each other in the head. You know what I mean?
And open themselves up.
If you're gonna open up 12 stitches right on the face, you want it to be as clean and savory in that area as possible. I know the hypocrisy of man is really being tested in this COVID-19 period, but it is hilarious. Like, again, like, I'm driving a motorbike for the first time in Bangkok. I would have never driven a motorbike before. I would have been like, there's like 67 deaths a day via motorbike in Bangkok. There hasn't been like 67 deaths in via COVID, but now, like, I'm gonna probably die via motorbike and actually chalk that up to COVID. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause I wouldn't have been driving that motorbike if it wasn't for this time.
How did you get around before? Did you ride what is it? What is that company?
City. Yeah, BTS, Bangkok Transit System, SkyTrain, Aircon, lovely. Aircon. It's 9 million degrees outside, hotter than the sun's balls. You know what I mean?
So there's never been a leftway event in the US, and they were talking about they're gonna do it this year, right?
Yeah.
Where were some of the locations that they're
okay? Oh, we were looking for July. I know
in Vegas.
Yeah. They were gonna do it in, the rumors being that they were going to do it in with Fight Week.
Okay.
You know, not like in, you know, WLC is on Fight Pass. There was talks about it being in some different places, from Vegas to Reno to Florida to Wyoming, a couple other different places. I don't really have the details on the location, but they were saying that it was going to be done during Fight Week, during that July. I don't know what's going on with that now. I do talk to Gerald fairly regularly. Obviously, he's switched on. He's grown the game quite hardcore. And again, I know that Cambodia is like not off. I know that Thailand's not off. I know that there's a lot of like little places that they're definitely thinking of. That way is just weird, man, because again, like they already have those numbers too. Like they have the immediate numbers. Like when we go on live stream there, you get like 16 million people watching WLC. And now granted, those people are in like the northern Shaw state and like, you know what I mean? Probably don't have running water, but they're all watching.
They're watching. Yeah.
They're watching. You know what I mean?
Well, I think International Fight Week would be great because everybody will be there. And the people that were with the doubters, they could just go and buy a ticket and go check it out and see what's
100%.
up with it. And a lot of the media will be there, so they might have nothing to do, so they'll probably shoot over to that event and check it out and then spread the word, right?
For sure. I mean, again, that's kind of why I see WLC as like I think the casual fans will be drawn to it faster. Oh, what? It has headbutts? Oh, what? It has no gloves? That's clearly tougher than the UFC. You know what I mean? They have 4-ounce gloves. They don't allow headbutts. You know what I mean? And it's not me. Remember, I'm a connoisseur. It's not for you. You're a connoisseur as well. The casual fat dude in Ohio, you know what I mean? That just likes these, like, every once in a while, who really doesn't know who Bellator is, who really doesn't know what Risen is. You know what I mean? That dude will love the WLC.
The dude that's walking around in a Conor McGregor fight kit.
That dude will love the WLC. You know what I mean? We are his cup of tea. You know
He's like double-fisted fucking 40s and shit, you know?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's the left way. That's the left way. They need to get into that demographic, and then in the US and North America, that will blow up.
Man, he is talking. We've been talking for a while. Like, you know, I love that Letway shit, and I've been begging the WLC to like let me help out with a Thailand show, and you know that of course they're gonna do a Thailand show. Of course they are. But what I'm begging for is that I want artistic control. You know what I mean? I want WLC done, not bright lights, big city, not for Disney, not for the Avengers. I want it done for the Tarantino audience. I want it done for the dark horse. You know what I mean? I want to throw that way in Insanity. You know what I mean? Have people be right there next to it. Yeah. Right there. Just, yeah, you know what I mean? Have it be, if I could have Somyang War, dude, imagine having a fucking imagine having like Glenn Spar versus Daniel Dora or something like that. You know what I mean? Going on an Insanity Letway.
Yeah, I might have to go to that.
Yeah, again, imagine if they allowed me artistically to get my hooks.
Especially in Insanity, you'd be so close to the action that you gotta go. If you're in Bangkok, if that shit's happening, you gotta. FMD, if it's happening in Bangkok, you gotta go. You're so close to the action. Like, I watched. I've been to a couple events in Insanity, the old one and the new one, right? And like, I don't even know how the referees do it, man, because there's like people yelling at the referees, like right there. You know what I mean? Like yelling some crazy shit at the referees and the fighters too at the same time. And that's one of the most enjoyable things to me, is to watch, like, to listen to what people are saying to the fighters and to the referees.
Yeah, it's again, I kind of feel like I'm doing fine during this whole COVID time. I'm a 3-dimensional guy, and my brain works in funny ways, and I'm moving forward. But I really like my show. Again, I've been, my partners, and the Henriks of the world, and you know my team. It just sucks because we are like we've been talking to the guys at Insanity, and we're gonna throw a show as soon as we can. But the atmosphere is not gonna be the same. You know what I mean? The people aren't gonna come the same way that they did.
Yeah.
We've been debating whether or not we're gonna go more exclusive, like what I did with Dare, raise the ticket price. but have more, exclusive shit go on.
Mhm.
But it sucks because, again, like, yeah, I mean, I know that you get the entire industry. FMD is made to be an atmosphere show. It's made for the audience, and it sucks that we're not going to have any audiences for a while. Makes me
Yeah.
sad. COVID, you bastard. Damn
Yeah,
you,
it
coronavirus.
does hit shows like your show where it's the
Oh,
audience is just as a big part as the fighters.
it's a kick in the dick, bro. It's a
Yeah,
real big
yeah.
kick in the dick. I mean, to tell you the truth, again, like we're still all good and we're making content because that's what we do. But like it's the same thing. So like nobody will know this. Nobody's gonna give me a high five on this. Nobody will ever care.
Mhm.
You know it. I know it. I'm not trying to like say that like on an insider's note that like we get it, but like for instance, the fighters in Cambodia probably could be a charitable organization. They are so poor. I mean, those dudes are mud farmers, right? That they need these fights. They survive on these fights. Well, fights are really hard because if you don't have a broadcast deal, it's a money pit. You know what I mean? It's real hard for fight shows on a single fight show basis to make money. You basically have to have a cult following like I do, that it is a bunch of alcoholics. So you know that you're getting your money in alcohol and ticket sales. You know what I mean? Or sponsors and stuff. It's shitty for me right now because like I could be on broadcast right now if I paid. If I
Mhm.
improve the production of my show, I can step up to broadcast. But the fighters won't get that money then. So like on my next show, I'm going to dumb down the production value and I'm going to pay more fighters to have more fighters on the card, if you will, because I know how many are literally starving, you know, and it sucks. It sucks because like you can't have it. You can't have it both ways. It's a chicken and the egg situation. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
definitely.
you go ahead and you rent that extra big venue and you're not having in the ticket sales and you're not having the alcohol sales and the broadcast isn't there. Where's the show? How does the show survive? You know, the answer is it doesn't. There's a fucking cemetery here in Asia filled with them. A cemetery, John.
Hey,
You know?
you know who has the biggest tombstone in that cemetery is Battlefield.
Oh, snap, dude. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
Battlefield's one of my big ones. I mean, I'm glad Legends is back. You know what I mean? I wish like I would love to bring back Dare at some point. I still talk to Yane, but I don't know if it would ever actually happen. Mima, I know Rashid and the boys down there are trying to, but over the last decade, there's definitely been some gems of some promotions that have come around and porked over some people. And
Mhm.
Battlefield, definitely, you're right,
They're
has a
number
big
one, man.
has a big headstone. Do you know if they got? Do you know if the fighters on the second
Well,
show
the Korean fighters, they got paid, and I think like a couple of the foreigners got paid. I believe
like Mushin?
Raja and Bruno
Roger,
and a couple of the guys like that, and some of them got paid like half their money. I don't understand how that happened. Like, how do you
Brian
get paid
Caraway. What
half
about
your
him?
money?
Yeah,
He never got paid. I don't believe he did. Last time I talked to him, he told me that he was still talking to the promoter, and I was like, man, if you're talking to him, he's probably never gonna pay you.
100%.
He's just trying to delay your thing. But yeah, they were, like
He's
Will
actually fucking
Brooks
with his
and
conscience. Yeah,
yeah, Will Brooks and Gleison Tebow, all those guys, they signed some big contracts, man. Like some big contracts to fight, and they haven't seen 1 cent. You know what I mean? They've lost.
yeah.
You know how fighting is. They lost money because they had to invest in their camps and stuff.
I 100% know how it is from the fighter side. Again, whether people like it or not, it's still wild, wild west in terms of promotions. There is no sports authority
Mm.
between the different countries out here, like you have Nevada State Athletic Commission versus Massachusetts State Athletic Commission versus Florida Athletic Commission. You don't have that out here. So nobody's gonna like check the Koreans,
Mm.
you know what I mean, when that happens, when a battlefield thing goes down. Same like China. I mean, how many fighters do I know that like go to China and have their opponents switched on them, their kilos changed, all the other shady shit. That stuff kind of just goes with the territory with the regional promotions. I kind of feel like, um, but man, bro, how did it happen that like Asian MMA turned into a thing where like everybody went out just to go get money off of a business idea that really they didn't even have solidified? You know what I mean? Like, I'm in this for a lifestyle. Like this is what I do. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lose my fucking shirt for nothing. You know what I mean? But you watch these other people go into it, and they either they raise capital or they find money or whatever, and they don't even have a solid business plan to work out like X number of shows in terms of events coordinating. Like mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm hoping again,
Well,
like I hope Just comes around. You know, you see a random Rebel article every blue moon. You know what I
yeah.
mean? You see a
Russia
random
or
like
something.
who else is out there? I mean, is Road still going?
They're still going. It's just the
Okay,
COVID, put a
let's go.
hold on what
Yes.
they're doing,
Okay.
but they're still going. There's about 4 or 5 promotions still going here in Korea.
Okay.
Uh, they're
PXC is
just on
PXC still
hold.
going? You said they took a nap.
Nah, PXC is on hold, and looks like they're not going to be going anymore because the guys that were running PXC, they actually started a new promotion called Brawl. Remember, I was telling you about that,
Yes.
and they have the square cage with the pretty much basically your rule set, FMD
Okay.
rule set, and but they don't have judges. So if you
Oh,
don't
really? Good for them.
finish, it's a draw.
Right.
So
Kudos.
they have that style. Well,
See, I like that, man.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, like, you know, there are other shows that people get mad at the judges for, and you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Have you been to
Well, there's
Hong
no
Kong
judges.
for a Just show?
Nah, I haven't.
I'd like to see what they're all about. Um, yeah,
Well,
man.
they've been screwed too, you know what I mean? Because first they had the protests, and then after that they had the COVID come through. It's just like as a promotion, you're just like, can I get any breaks? You know what I mean? Like
100%. 100%. Well,
it's
I'm
just
trying to give. Hey, man, if there's promoters out there that listen to your show, or you talk to other promoters, tell them to come to me. I'll throw their show in Thailand. You know what I mean? It's cheaper. I guarantee you that the. I mean, again, it's different places. Do you know what I mean? Because again, like the ticket sales in Thailand aren't as big to probably what they could be in the Philippines. You know what I mean? They're definitely not what they are to what they would be in KL or Singapore. Do you know what I mean? But it
Mhm.
depends on where you're going with your show and what you're trying to do with your show. I mean, it's fantastic to have Asian MMA to be juxtaposed to American UFC, if you will, because we have the different little options. You know what I mean? And we have the cult, if you will, the cult of personalities and the cult of fucking the you and me of the world that really enjoy seeing these guys do their thing.
Well, hopefully it does. I feel like in June we'll be back to doing actually shows like in Asia, like
Yeah,
normally, you know what I mean? Like normal promotions doing shows. It might not be like complete audiences or whatever, but still, I feel like in Korea, it's getting much, much better. So,
yeah.
I think June is a good time, the summer, and,
As I said, the WBC, Rungavi Sisaket versus Jon Nutt, that's going on June 6th. If that
yeah,
goes, we'll go right after.
yeah,
And
right. Yeah.
again,
So,
if somebody out there really wants to throw some crazy Jean-Claude Van Damme underground Chinese gambling money site, holler at
as
your
a
boy.
sponsor.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some
I'll do
some
it for you.
some cryptocurrency, you know what I mean? That's
Exactly.
the shit right now. Some blockchains,
I need
you
some
know?
gold. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
want
some
gold.
gold. Yeah, some gold. The digital gold, then you gotta get all that. Let's
Sure.
hit a couple of these questions before we get out of here. It says, when do you think you'll be back in full gear from this lockdown? Oh, we talked about that already.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, I will say that, like, just by the way, like, you know, we were supposed to do our Eat, Play, Fight show as well
Mhm,
about Khabib and Tony when it
mhm.
was in Brooklyn and it was April. We got two more of those Eat, Play, Fights that like are supposed to be exotic, far away adventures. I'm excited to see what happens because we now no longer know what those adventures are because of the world. So, so that's fun. Full Metal Dojo will be back as fast as possible. We will do our show again, most likely in June, and then we will do 2 more after that. I think that's going to be my year for Full Metal Dojo. But then WLC, Big Bang Bomb, WP, Work Point Boxing, trying to work with some other shows between Malaysia and TMAF, that Masma versus TMAF, trying to do some amateur grassroots stuff on that. And man, I'd love to bring some more bare knuckle boxing over to Thailand. So if any of the British boys or the American boys are listening, let's get a feeder league for some bare knuckle over here.
Yeah. Oh, here's a question about bare knuckle. It says, do you consider lethwei or even bare knuckle boxing truly bare knuckle when the competitors wear a modified wrap around the wrist? What do you think
Yes, I
about
do.
that?
Yes. I mean, for one, again, like, okay, so if you got Dave Feldman, that's BKFC, that's the American. They come to here, right? So they come to here. So they actually do bare knuckle. And they've got a little modified thing that basically protects your thumb and your wrist. That's all it is. And that's kind of what the glove is technically for. But, it's marketing. It's, it's part of the game, if you will. So, yeah, I think it is. We use cotton wraps for WLC, which they've been using forever. If you think that helps out in any kind of way, you've never really had it on. I mean, like,
Well, just go get punched by one.
Bro, it's nothing. You know what I mean? It's nothing. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's funny, though, that nobody can really cast up with those on, and obviously we see a bunch of people bust their thumbs up as well. So, but yeah, it's bare knuckle. Bare knuckle's great.
All right,
are
here's
there
another
other
one.
questions? I don't have to see them.
All right, here we go. I don't watch WLC, but is it the traditional rule set where you don't knock your opponent out? It's a draw. They changed it a little bit, right?
Yeah, they had to, man. A lot of people wonder why. It really was for broadcast. I mean, again, they're trying to grow an audience outside of Myanmar. They've already got Myanmar. They don't need the people there. They're trying to get an international audience. So WLC and Gerald and those guys really came to grip with, the old rule was that if you had a knockout, they could have the timeout and he could go back into his corner and he has his 2 minutes and gets water thrown on his face and he can go out in there and get reconcussed. Bro, when you have that for broadcast, think about it. There's a 10-minute timeout. What do? Do I cut to commercial break for 10 minutes? You know what I mean? So it really didn't work out for them, like trying to get those UFC Fight Pass deals, trying to get those Kennel Plus deals, trying to get those True Vision deals. You couldn't stick with the traditional way of the original Myanmar Let way and be on broadcast television.
So it was a 3 knockdown rule, right? If you get knocked down 3 times, the fight's over,
you
right?
You can get knocked out twice in a fight.
Okay.
And there's that famous Tutu versus Cyrus Washington fight where obviously, Cyrus KO'd the
not
dude.
So good.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know of any brutal stuff that's happening. Like Letway, we've seen some crazy that look like brutal knockouts. But again, it's not as horrible as some other places I've seen.
Well, the thing is with WLC, they made those adjustments, and I feel like yes, it's not the traditional rules, but I feel like if you want the traditional, go to Myanmar, watch the traditional promotions there. That's probably the best experience you're gonna get ever in your life. And then this one, WLC rules, is what you're gonna get on the broadcast because many promotions have adjusted their rule sets somewhat to be on broadcast. Like even with Road, they had elbows, right? But then one fight changed that rule because of broadcast. One fight, dude got cut right down the face on live broadcast, and then people did not like that. So Road that next, I think, month or so, they decided, hey, we're gonna take the elbows out because it's not even worth it. It's not worth it for the promotion to move forward.
Of course, this is the debate between sport and spectacle that I always have. Like, and again, you know that I love this talk, whether or not it's sport or spectacle, whether it's just entertainment or whether it's athletic fighting. I mean, bro, the rules in Asian MMA have been changed over the course of the last 5 years based on broadcasting, not based
Yeah.
on sport, not based on any authority. Do you know what I mean? And again, as the UFC grows, you will either need deep as the, such deep pockets of money that you can go to at any time, or you need to change your business model so that you can stay afloat. But either way, that doesn't come with like the bearing of the sport. I would think that like if more MMA promotions come up in Southeast Asia over the next couple of years, I would think the majority of them won't actually go with the UFC rules. They might do their own, maybe 10-minute round, maybe lose the gloves and go back to Valley Tudo. Maybe do this. Because if you just follow the same market, like, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I mean?
got you can't copy. You got to make your
No,
own shit, and
100%.
and like you said, in Asia, every country has different rules. You know, you got one championship, they got their rules, and you got Ryzen.
100%.
Ryzen has different rules for every fight. Like
Well,
you're contracted with different rules.
100%. And look at them though. Like, I mean, like again, Rizen's fans are definitely Rizen's fans. One's fans are definitely One's fans. You know what I mean? People have like cornered off their little markets. Like again, think of it as a movie. Do you know what I mean? One is definitely for people that don't want the talking of the trash. Much more Filipino influenced, much more polite. They like that type of stuff.
The Manny
Others will
Pacquiao of
love
the
it.
MMA world.
Correct. But then Rizin is trying to be that pride, saving grace of Japanese MMA with being wild. Personally, I think the new pride is WLC. You know what I mean? If you really want, we were all watching Pride back in the day because we loved those stomps and those soccer kicks and all that wild shit. If you like those stomps and those soccer kicks, believe you me, you're gonna love fucking headbutts. You know what I mean? We don't have Lenny Hart, but you got me.
Well, the thing is, like,
you know what I mean?
with WLC, right? You got a lot of guys fighting on that promotion where they do not speak English and they're not into the promotion and they probably don't have that knack, the promotion knack. But your idea you were saying earlier of like putting together like montages and like promotional videos of them with voiceovers, man, I think that's fucking perfect.
I'm
That's
gonna become Mike.
perfect.
If you go look up Mike Hyon, but like the Hynster, that's what I call him. Me and Mike Hyon. Mike Hyn's my boy, and Samyang War. Those are my two Burmese boys that like. I'm going to be their megaphone. I'm going to talk shit on behalf of them. I'm going to be that African dude that stood next to Manny Pacquiao and talk shit for him. That's going to be me talking shit for them. And it's basically going to go like, it's going to be like Samyang War. Samyang War, what do you have to say for yourself? And he's going to be like, Sawadee Cup, Mangalaba, Kanyana, and they're going to be like, what'd he say? And I'm going to be like, he said he wants to fist your fucking face. He wants to fist it like prison sex. He wants to go in there and see your asshole and just put his fist in there and fist your face like that. And he's just going to do that. Fuck your face all up like just a ravaging prison sex party. That's what he said. That's what Somnian said. And War's going to be there and he's going to be like, and hopefully that will get in that more casual fan audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like, you do got to do that. You know what I mean? Like if you want to spread to a larger audience and of course it's undeniable that English is something that you need to have to kind of spread your wings. So if you could have somebody next to you and you're not like, I'm not learning English, just have someone next to you that's just going to promote you, even though you're not saying it, it doesn't matter because they know it's kind of just promotion. So it's not like it's actually you're a translator, you're an interpreter or something like that. It's just like this is what we do, and I love that idea, man. I want every promotion to do that. If you got guys that can't promote themselves, give them a little push, and do it for them. Why not? Hey, John, man, we hit like over an hour. Thanks so much, man, for the time, and we'll get you back on here in a couple months. Maybe before your show, we'll see what happens.
For sure. Again, get me on here again in another month. Let's see what I'll do 100 push-ups a day until then. And see if I can get my traps to be out here. You know what I mean? What's up, guys? It's been a month. It's sweet.
You look like Ronnie Coleman out there.
Exactly, bro. Coming out here with the traps
Naked
coming
on
out
the
my ears.
naked on the motorbikes and shit
For
around
sure.
Bangkok. You'd be famous.
You need to get that done. Need to make that happen. Well, yeah, John, thank you very much for having me. And again, I love what you're doing. Keep doing it, man. Keep getting all the people's on. Get the interviews. You know what I mean? Thank you. And yeah, let's chat it up in a month. Yeah.
Definitely, man.
My hat's off to your